Hello there. Welcome to the Kirk Minahan wrap-up show for March 17th, 2021. Today's show was titled Illiterate, over my inability to read. Uh, the person who probably documented most of those is joining you today, Tim and Canton. Hello, Tim. How's it going, man?
Hey, buddy. Great job. Great job.
Oh, thank you so much. It was tough, but I got through it. I persevered. And yeah, it was tough. I didn't realize how much I was fucking up some of those names until my dad called me this morning too. And apparently that aliens chick is pretty well known. I've never heard of her before, but
the aliens chick. Okay,
yeah, the aliens chick.
Yeah,
I forgot her name. What was her name?
Take a stab at it.
It was like the female version of Sigfried. I forget. What was it? Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, she was very well known back in the 80s and 90s.
I fucked up on some of those names quite a bit, but today was a long show. It was over 2 hours long, and it was full of plenty of laughs. There was plenty of laughs going on. A lot of people seem to enjoy today's show. I've gotten some messages. Tim, you know how I'm going out to Madawaska this weekend with my father?
Your real father?
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. I was picking up some mineral oil because what you need to do is you need to put it on the line so it doesn't freeze when you're ice fishing. And I'm walking back to my car, and the person parked in the car next to me goes, "Are you Justin?" And I was like, "Yep, I'm wearing my mask and everything." And I was like, "Yep." And I don't know what this guy's going to say. Like I went to high school with him or something. And he's like, "Oh, I'm listening to the show now. It's so funny." He's like, "You think she's gonna sue?" And I swear to God, this happened. And so
getting recognized. Look at you.
Shout out to whoever was in CVS in Mansfield today, while I was buying a lubricant laxative. So shout out to them.
That could go many different ways.
Yeah,
because that you mentioned the ice fishing.
Yes, that's exactly. I'm like, oh no, me and my dad were going up to the tippy top of Maine,
bringing mineral oil and some ether and masks. Yeah.
So let's start off with where the show started off. So I want to fuck with Gresh so badly. He just seems like the ultimate. Like, I'm the cool radio guy. Look at me. I'll say it. Pickle butt's coming after me. Something stupid, moronic like that. I want to have a KMS call-in sometime.
Have you? Well, you were busy yesterday, so you didn't listen. That was Tuesday. Did you listen Monday or today to the?
I listened to some parts of Gresh and Keefe on Monday.
Yeah. That does not roll off the tongue, by the way. Gresh and Keefe.
No, I mean anything from WEI just doesn't roll off the tongue. They're just a complete shit show, and I can't wait to see them.
There's one show that does.
Nope, even he sucks.
No, come on. Mud at Night rolls very easy. It's a good show.
I'm sure it's great. I've never listened.
It just sucks. It's on EEI.
But my best to Mud. So anyway, what are your thoughts on? Did you take it that segment from today's show as Gresh kind of calling out Minifans, or do you think he was just calling out just no one? Because that's what I took it as.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's just he sounds like a blowhard. I dipped in a little on Monday. I had you on in the background most of the day yesterday. So I haven't listened to that show. I was talking to someone last night that still listens to EEI, and they said the guy is just too bombastic, trying too hard, it seemed like. And I think Kirk was mentioning this. His style is so old school radio cookie cutter formula, and that he thinks he's being edgy and nothing edgy, which is funny because the person I was talking to last night hadn't heard Kirk's show, and he was saying, he's loud, but he doesn't really say anything.
Yeah, so that's what I took it as. I took it as he was just making up a segment responding to no one. Because on Monday, I did hear in the first hour, they were doing this thing where they were calling out their haters, and it was all like, Andy Gresh is a bozo, and it was like all these like fake Twitter names and things like that. It's like, I mean, you want to read the real hate, like
right, the real comments.
what Kirk would be doing if he was on.
Right.
Kirk would never be making up, oh my goodness, Pats fan 69 420 just
Right.
called me, he just said, I have bad sports takes. Well, I'd like you sit in my chair, good sir.
And to Kirk's point, and you just mentioned it, Justin, what has changed? What has actually changed aside from the personality and the way in the delivery? What has changed from last week with Dale to this week with Gresh? Nothing. The segment's almost the exact same name. Like you said, they're just sitting in a different chair. Keith still sounds like he doesn't want to be there with his co-host. And I don't, like I said, I didn't listen to it, but it sounds like nothing has really changed from the old show, from the old format and what they were doing and talking about.
Yeah. I started listening to radio when I was a junior, senior in high school, and that was around 2014, 2015. So I was there when they switched from Gresh and Zoe to Zoe and Beetle.
On 98.5? Yeah.
Yes, on 98.5. And I really don't remember anything about this guy, but he just seems like to be the biggest radio blowhard. And
he was he at PRO? Is that where he was prior to coming back?
I think he's on CBS Radio or something.
Oh, is that what it was?
Sunday nights or something like that? I have no idea.
I thought after 98.5, I thought he was at PRO, which is Providence. I thought, but who knows? I could be wrong. But it's a big question, right? What did Dale ask for that they said no to, which he claims he is retiring, whatever, right? And Kirk has said, no, it's not true about there were some truths about the not extending the contract, something like that. But what was it they weren't willing to give to Dale that Gresh said yes to? Because I can't imagine, given his track history and the fact that he's a known entity, that they were saying, we need this guy. Right. Yeah.
It's and like, I don't know who's jumping over from, because that's pretty much what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to get people to jump over from 98.5 to WEEI. And I don't know if this move makes anyone jump over.
Yeah, I don't think it moves the needle at all.
It's I don't know. The first ratings book with them is going, because now they're going to blame the previous ratings book on, Dale left, so blah, blah, blah. Then they'll blame the book after that is, it was Gresh's first book, so, we got to give him time. So I don't know. They should really just turn that into a country music station. What a piece of shit that is.
I'm with you. I used to listen before podcasts. I listened to sports radio 16 hours a day. Between music and sports radio, that's all that was on. When I say 16 hours, it'd be throughout the day, right? At first thing in the morning. This is before DNC. Back in the Eddie days when it was nothing. There was nothing else on, but they talk sports. And now it's just. It's not even a shadow of what it used to be, and I don't know how they continue to move on. And I think the Entercom stock, is that actually up right now?
Let me check. I have no idea.
So it might be across the company, obviously, but
it's up. Went up today from 562 to 613. So I don't.
Mike likes when you lean in like that on the camera.
Yeah. Because I don't have the best eyesight either. So. That's enough about Gresh and fucking Rich Keefe.
So you're gonna start calling them?
I believe so. I hate their producer, by the way. I don't even know his name, but
isn't that Shane or something? Shane?
Chavias, or I have no idea. But
I know he has a little segment.
Oh my god, it's terrible. So let's get into the main crux of the day. So obviously, I spent 7.5 hours reading Julie DeCar's book on the Kirk Minahan Network yesterday, and they kind of started off after the Gresh segment talking about that a little bit, but they weren't necessarily talking about the content of the book. They were talking about me just completely butchering words and tripping over myself, going back to words, still fucking up the word, just not knowing names. It was I knew at a certain point I was like, okay, there are some words in this I just cannot pronounce. I don't think I'm the worst at reading, but I'm definitely not the best when it comes to it.
So when she was talking about I did hear you say a few of them live, and sports. So McEnroe didn't stand out to you? Like, forget the foreign tennis names. No. That's tough. Most people can't pronounce those. McEnroe didn't jump out at you when you first looked at it?
No.
Knowing it was tennis?
Also you gotta really I'm not gonna try to defend myself here, but I kinda am. I'm reading a book out loud I haven't read before before. I'm reading a book out loud for the first time since I took AP Literature and fucking.
You're an AP Lit, huh?
I was an AP Lit. I got a 3 on the test, so it counted as credits. But
listen, I was your biggest detractor, and also I'm your biggest supporter. So I know what you mean. Reading a book, very few people can pick up a book and read it out loud and not screw up.
yes,
because you're trying to follow along with the story without knowing what it is. So you get your inflections wrong. You get words wrong. And the second reason I'm going to defend you is I butcher words all day long. So it was nice to see someone do it on a recording,
yes,
be able to laugh at it. But I know exactly what you mean.
There are a couple.
But some of those will lay up. I got to say that.
I guess so. But I mean, some of those things, Mike did make a good point where he said, some of those words, I would have realized that afterwards, and just kind of would have went back and changed it. I did realize some of the words I was fucking up because it's hard. She wrote a terrible book. I don't know if you know that or not, but she wrote a completely dog shit book.
I found it very, very hard to follow what the book was about for a very long time. Again, I had it on in the background, but I tried to pay attention to some points. I'm like, what is she trying to get at? Or is she really? It was so. I got validated today. So Kirk had said, I thought the funniest thing Kirk had said about the book today for me was when he said she should have dedicated it to WikiLeaks. I mean, Wikipedia.
Yes.
Because I was thinking the whole time, and Justin, you had the book. Does she have references? Are there?
She does. At the end, she has sources.
Because there is a shit ton of regurgitated secondhand, not even first-hand knowledge, secondhand knowledge that, frankly, you and I could have put together over 2 years as well. So I found it very hard to follow along, but I know it's also, there were some things like I picked up, like the Voldemort treatment for anybody who listens to Barstool, but I just found it, I don't know, I get the gist of what the book is about, but I didn't get the flow.
Yeah, the book should have been called I've Watched Other Documentaries and Read Other Books on Feminism, and I'm going to recap them in this book.
That'd be fine.
The entire first chapter was about the let them wear towels, and it just kept on. It just explained that documentary, and it was just going over and over and over again.
Which honestly, that'd be fine. People do. You're doing a wrap-up show. People do. That's right. They do. They do briefs and overviews of other topics and stories. Those are totally fine. I get you. I just didn't understand where. What I think it showed to me was the more I listened, is it sounds to me like this is a person who is looking for a problem, or looking to be picked on and highlighting that. She definitely gets
from this book.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess victim, but more so to get attention from people picking on her. And when you hear it, I think, okay, we see worse stuff among Minifans against each other. For people who are supposed to be friendly to each other, claim to be friends with each other. People are nasty. They hide behind things. That's the way it works. And Kirk's 100% right. If people really threatened her, they should be exposed. But not, I mean, because someone doesn't like the way you talk, I get it all the time. I'm nasally. I have a thick accent. I fuck my words up. And people don't, frankly, like to hear me talk. Okay. That doesn't mean that, doesn't mean that they're, that I'm a victim.
Yeah,
there are radio hosts. None of us. I hated to listen to Dale. Couldn't stand his voice. Couldn't stand the way he talked. He was a male. I just think she's looking for a reason to be a victim.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It was just overall a bad book. Her Barstool chapter had no proof of anything. She would just be like, I bet you think that Erica Nardini is, a feminist because she's the CEO of Barstool Sports. No, she's not. And that was it. And
well, that's the new tact you see in everything, right? It starts in politics, and it's throughout everywhere. As soon as there is a category or some sort of way that a person is identified that goes against what someone might be professing, they say, well, then they're not truly part of us or the movement or whatever it might be. And they just completely devalue what they may stand for. It's a very confusing thing to listen to. I don't know how you read for 7 hours. That literally your jaw must hurt after a while, right?
Yesterday, yeah.
But
yeah, no, I recommend everyone go pick it up. It's Sideline Sports Culture and Being a Woman in America. Go check it out on Amazon. Pick it up. Now Barnes and Noble carries it. So be sure to pick that up. What'd you say?
I did see on Barnes and Noble. It was yesterday. It was at number 246,000.
Okay.
Bestsellers.
Well,
It
let's try to
came
get it
out
up
a
to
couple days before.
245,000.
Now, are you saying this because of the fear of the impending potential lawsuit?
No.
Confident
I
about that.
I think people should pick it up. Pick it up. Read it. I mean, it's a book.
What do you think about her threats of suing you?
I mean, I don't know if there's any precedent or legality to it, but we'll see. I mean, that would kind of suck, huh? I guess getting subpoenaed because I read a book on YouTube.
Can you imagine if there were two Massachusetts State Supreme Court cases and they both had to do with Kirk?
Yeah,
it'd be the new John Adams. You know,
I mean, it's been tough. There have been some harassing people in my mentions. I was trying to go to sleep last night, but one person kept on harassing me. I asked him, please stop. He wouldn't. So I'd like it if Julie just kind of, chilled out over it. And I think reading it on YouTube gave her plenty of publicity because now people are tweeting out, oh, fuck this guy. I bought it to say fuck this guy. So there
is an agent or a publisher or somebody that works with her that's saying, Julie, take it for what it is and get some traction out of this, and let's get some attention on it to sell some of these damn books. That's the end game. She didn't write the book to get her message out there. She wrote the book to make some money. And there's nothing at all wrong with that. And frankly, like Kirk said, she's highlighting some things that should get attention.
I did agree with some of the chapters in the book.
Did you agree with the Kobe chapter?
Yeah, we're gonna skip that part, but we're just gonna go right on to no. I mean, I do think it's tough for women to get into sports media. I think there definitely was a time in the 70s and 80s and early 90s. I remember reading about the Patriots story, and
I remember when that happened. That was pretty nasty.
Yeah, no,
it's pretty nasty.
It's terrible, and there are some things that aren't covered enough in sports, such as domestic violence and sexual assault among players, among college draftees and stuff like that. So I think she did a decent job on that kind of stuff. It was
she's just not a good writer.
Opinions. Yeah, no, I mean,
she's not a good writer.
I'm not a good reader. She's not a good writer. It's just we fit hand in hand. That's why yesterday was so magical.
So last thing on that, what I don't understand is if you go to story time at the library, and a lot of libraries charge you for story time, and now with COVID, it was done over Zoom. What's the difference?
I don't know. I'm not even going to pretend to know.
What is the difference? So every librarian's going to be sued because they read a book to a bunch of kids?
All I know is that she wanted the message to be spread. She said that was the point of her book. I spread the message.
There you go.
So I'll just.
What will you settle for a punishment, Justin? Let's get it out on the.
I'm not settling for any sort of punishment.
You won't stand for any sort of punishment. If she said, I will. I will not pursue this if you agree to read my book again to my audience.
Julie DeCaro is not my boss, so I'm not going to. If anything Kirk says, obviously, I'm going to be reading. I'm not joking about this. I will be reading the King James Bible as much as I can, front to back.
That's going to be a tough read.
Yes. No shit. I mean,
are you going to read that once beforehand?
No. I mean, because Jesus, I'm going to spend 72 hours. I'm going to spend 10% of April reading the King James Bible.
That's a good way to put it.
Pretty much. I'm not going to spend another 10% of April preparing to read that King James Bible.
Well, you wouldn't take your 10%. You could read it quickly and in your head, see the words and say them. But I am glad that you're not going to. And hearing some of those biblical, some of those biblical names and words that are used. A lot of us may make fun of that. And a lot of us don't actually know how it should be pronounced.
Yeah, I mean, I've never read the Bible before, so I hope there's
I haven't either.
Some good stories in there.
I hear there's some good stories. Yeah,
I know there's a story about some salt at one point. Someone looks behind them, and there's a whole bunch of salt.
Around.
And I remember when I was at Buffalo Wild Wings one time, I looked behind me, and someone spilled a lot of salt on the ground. So I could relate to that a lot.
So this name Job, how do you pronounce it?
That would be Job.
There you go. Job? It is Job.
I believe it's Job.
It's Job.
But like I will say Job.
You're going to say Job just because you're trying to read, right? Right.
So yeah, and also Kirk says I don't read very much. Ha ha ha. Au contraire, I would like to see Kirk, pronounce Master Sifo Dyas or Master Ki Adimundi of the Jedi Council. It goes back and forth. I stepped into his world and I read some nonfiction books. I wasn't too great at it. I'd like to see Kirk read a Star Wars book and try to pronounce some of the planets, galaxies, and creatures.
All right, my friend. I'm your regular Wednesday guest. I'm just gonna give you some words of wisdom. You're getting a little over your skis, so to speak, right now. Take it easy. Take a deep breath.
What you want to read Star Wars books? They're not easy to read. They're deep.
Oh, Jesus.
They're deep.
Listen, you got anointed the best non-Kirk performance ever, and just be happy with that.
Look, when CT-7575, when he blows himself up to save the rest of his squadron, it's deep. It's deep, and I mean, I don't want to get too into it, but
yeah, because all the junior high school students that would be interested are bummed out right now that you revealed.
Yeah, no, that's actually the audience I'm trying to get with this wrap up show is 7th graders. So they took some calls today. I think the calls were decent. I mean, Sopranos guy got aborted for the first time.
That was a Chrissy on drugs imitation.
Yes.
Those were all Chris while he was high. And he got aborted.
Yes. So I mean,
it was shocking.
I think that just goes to because I've watched season 1 of The Sopranos, so I am not the biggest fan of The Sopranos call. So I don't think Steve has ever seen The Sopranos. I know he said he's seen it once, but I'd be willing to bet that he hasn't. So I just think it's just if you haven't seen Sopranos guy, it's just you don't get it as much as Kirk does, or Mike does, or other people have. I know Sopranos is a wildly popular TV show. I think
the most popular ever, especially on cable.
As soon as I watch BoJack Horseman for the 8th time this week, I'll
Sopranos guys' quotes were dead on, even with the inflection. Like you know, Justin, you're a performing artist now. You did this yesterday when you were reading the book. Right. There were times when you peeked around it and you gave some inflection. He had it spot on about Chris sitting on the dog and being high. And that was a shock to hear him get aborted. The question is, how will Sopranos guy respond?
Yeah, that is a good one. I hope he doesn't put a hit out on Steve or.
If I know him, he's not going to lay down for this.
Yeah, so I mean, Sopranos guy is a fighter. He's probably been the most consistent celebrity
Drunk Greg Hill
throughout the years. Drunk Greg Hill, yes.
Mike's penis, very consistent.
Mike's penis, not as consistent as I think Sopranos guy, or like Donald Trump hasn't really called in a while. Mike's dad.
Oh, you mean consistently calling in?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I mean. Not
I was going to say staying in character. I mean,
just consistently.
Yeah. The frequency.
Yes. So, I mean, he keeps it going. So I'm sure he'll call in sometime. I mean, there's not going to be a show next week.
I'm fairly sure he'll be calling back in.
It just hit me. There's not going to be a show next week. Oh, fuck. That sucks. I was so happy on Monday when the show came back, and I was smiling half. It's so sad when the show is off. But so there was a segment of today's show which made me just uncomfortable. So they were talking about marriage, and Steve brought up some conservative viewpoints on marriage about how he doesn't believe that he believes that marriage is between a woman and a man, and that a man and a man, they can live together and everything like that, and they can do whatever they want. They can get all the same tax breaks, they can get all the same everything, but it's not marriage. I really don't have much to say on that topic. I'm not going to pretend like I know anything about where Steve is coming from a religious standpoint. I actually talked to Steve on the phone today, and
did he propose to you?
No, he did not. But I was talking
to
him,
throuple.
And he said, and I said, yeah, no, I'm legitimately going to read the King James Bible on YouTube. And he said, I've always thought that that's what you needed in your life, Justin, was some religion. So it was a joke, but it was just a weird segment to hear from, because you could hear Kirk just kind of being like, come on, let's get over it. Steve
was very
no, good for Steve passionate. For sticking his ground. I mean, I take away from that. I also take away good on Kirk for challenging him on it. I think that's what makes the Kirk Minahan show great. I don't see many other podcasts if their producer brings up something like that, the host of the show will be like, no, I think you're wrong, and this is why I think you're wrong.
You mean like that morning show on Kirk's old station where they bring up something marginally controversial, and all of a sudden it's okay. Well, we need to go to a break.
Yeah.
It was very interesting. Yeah, it was the last few minutes, and I think it derived from I don't want to say an edict. I should know this because I'm Catholic, but I never go to church. I haven't read the Bible. So I'm a bad Catholic, but wasn't there something that the Catholic Church said they weren't going to recognize?
The Catholic Church said, they're not going to recognize gay marriage.
Gay marriage. Okay, I think that's where it came from. And then Steve was talking about, basically the doctrine of beliefs of the Catholic Church. Yeah, and that's where Kirk challenged him on it. And then it got into, sounded like more of Steve's personal beliefs. And, some of the legalities behind it. Mm-hmm. Hey, I have a friend who is gay, and one of a few friends I have that are gay, and he was all against gay marriage. And like any good, fine young American, he didn't want it to be legalized because he knew that his boyfriend at the time would push him to get married, and he didn't want to get married. And funny. To this day, he's still pissed and said, "Why the fuck did you guys pass that bill? I never wanted to get married. Now I'm stuck." So like a typical married person, he's pissed that he's stuck in a marriage he didn't want. Not every marriage is like that.
So I think it came like today's show was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, it was.
I think everyone who listened to today's show would go away smiling. It was a very funny show. Lots of laughs. I was laughing out loud.
As Billy Crystal once said on Howard Stern, it was fun. As he didn't say, it was fun and funny. Mike was funny, and that was a double banger for Mike. 2 days in a week.
Yes,
must be spent. But Mike was very funny.
So that's what I did like about the conversation about the marriage in the Catholic Church, was to kind of not kind of bring it more towards the center, but also you get kind of some of that, not more serious, but kind of more like intellectual KMS, where they're having debates on things. So I think
does that remind you of the old KNC a little bit?
I did never listen to KNC.
Okay, it reminded me.
I've heard some clips, and I guess because I
did remind me of that, because they would have some heated discussions.
I know Jerry is way more to the right than Kirk, and Kirk would try to argue some of the points against Jerry. I think it was great. There was a point. So Carabas is going to be on the Friday show.
But before we get to that, can I just jump in, because this has to do with the marriage discussion? Lest we forget what. Mike who was gifted a watch today, and then ruined the whole experience by touching Kirk's hand with his finger. Totally disgusted Kirk. That Claude reached out and touched Kirk. But Mike, you want to talk about what Mike had to say about marriage?
Yeah, Mike. I mean, sounds like Mike is shopping for an engagement ring. So he could be Mr. and Mrs. Gary sometime soon.
And he said, around 100, if there were no coronavirus restrictions, probably around 100 people. So I'm just wondering, do me and Steve from Providence, do we get to see that, way in the back by where the wait staff come out, or are we closer to the head table?
I demand to be the best man. That's all I want.
But isn't that Warthog? Wouldn't that be Warthog?
Nope, too bad. And I want a live Mike and the Minifans, like right before the reception. Mike and the Minifans, it's going to be open bar. Mike's gonna be awesome. But no, that was interesting. I mean,
it's great news.
It sounds to him like I think he mentioned at one point that he might be being pressured into doing this. So I don't know if that pressure was from his side of the family, or if it was from Alba, or who it was from. But no, I'd be very happy.
Speaking from experience, I can tell you sometimes the pressure is self-inflicted. Just feeling like people will ask, "Oh, what's going on? You guys going to get married?" Then you think you're getting pressured when people are just curious. I mean, they've been together for a while. They live together. It's a natural progression.
6-7 years now?
Yeah, and they've been living together for...
It's been like 2 or 3 years.
No, he's been living together for over a year, right?
Yeah, over a year.
Between the old place and the new place. So, yeah, that's great news. That's very, very glad for Mike, and there's absolutely no way in hell Kirk will go to that wedding. No.
That
Oh,
would
he'll
be
stop by, right?
or he'll do like a live show like right outside the wedding. And I'll be like, "Fuck Mike's mom," fuck, or something like that.
So I'm sorry that you were getting to
Carabas.
going like this. Reminded me of Jared.
Yes, apparently he has video of him lifting some iron. Hopefully that comes out tomorrow or
Jack and
Friday.
Steel.
Let's hope so. But so I didn't think was under the impression that Jared was in full on baseball season mode, and the show would be unable to get him on Friday's show. But I'm glad I was wrong. They called him up today. Sounds like he's all set. A little pushback on the time. Jared's
that 15-minute window.
Jared is afforded that luxury to kind of push back on the time, because I can't imagine Kirk ever saying to Mike, "Hey, is 6 good?" And Mike's like 7. Kirk's like,
and him saying, "Okay, I see you at 6." Yeah.
See you at 7.
But but also you could tell Jared wants to be there. It sounds like
Yes.
he does enjoy coming in, and obviously we talked about it. Kirk enjoys having him in. For one, first of all, I'm very much looking forward to this evidence. I love that Jared is part of the show, and I love that he gets it too.
Yep.
He's bringing. It's like when Mutt brought in. Remember Mutt? Oh, you didn't listen. Mutt brought in his notebook, his weightlifting notebook that he would bring to the gym every day, and he'd write down. And he brought it in so they could talk about it. It was great. It's good for the show. But did you notice what he doesn't want to talk about anymore?
Baseball. What did he say?
No, sex.
Oh, that's right. He said no more sex.
Does not
Like,
want
we
to
used to talk about it too much on CCK, and Kirk's like, "Well, then go fucking do CCK. I don't give a fuck." But it's no, it's exciting. Yeah, I mean, Jared doesn't want to talk about getting his ass ate anymore. So, you give him an inch, he's going to take a mile. So I'd like to see how Kirk responds to this on Friday, because I could see them doing a completely like just show only talking about sex and people's sex lives on Friday,
and calls on sex and clips on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably the worst thing Jared could have said. He could be trolling us, but that might be the worst show of the hands he could have made by saying, "I don't want to talk about sex."
Yeah, it's if you don't want to talk about something, just play along with it, and then hopefully it will just go away and not turn into a thing.
Right.
Because the more it's like with Steve's parents from early on. The more you push back and say, we're not really going to talk about this, are we? Kirk, I believe that Kirk wants to talk about it even more, the more you don't want to talk about something. So yeah, when Jared says things like, I don't want to talk about my sex life anymore, it's and that also might mean that, things might be getting serious between him and someone that he doesn't want.
That's a good point. Did he say he has a girlfriend? Because I know he was pursuing that one girl. Yeah.
He said, if you're thinking about the girl out in California, the YouTube star or whatever she was.
No. But
I think he dropped hints that it might be like some news reporter in the area.
Oh, that's right.
They've been hanging out. But I think he said no dating or no like boyfriend girlfriend thing. So maybe things have gotten a bit more serious, and we haven't seen him in. Is it 2 or 3 weeks? Was he on?
Well, not last week, and the week before, wasn't he unable to join the week before?
Yeah, I believe it's been a while, but yeah. So I'd like to see where that goes on.
Just think someday there might be some little shoulder pressing Carabases running around Saugus.
Oh, maybe. I want to go to the Kowloon. I've never been to the Kowloon, and I love Chinese food.
It's an experience.
So,
food's not the best, but it's an experience.
I got to go sometime. But the thing I wanted to bring up was, so apparently there's this. I fucking hate Bitcoin, but we're going to talk about it. There's this Bitcoin tournament going on in regards to the college tournament, and if Missouri
March Madness, yeah,
and if Missouri wins 2 games, like Kirk and Jared, and they're going to throw some Bitcoin to Steve, I guess, is gifted an entire Bitcoin, which I think is worth like $50,000. But my favorite part of that segment was when Kirk says, "Okay, explain to me Bitcoin in the simplest terms."
He couldn't.
And Kirk, and Steve, Steve wants to. He wants to explain it to Kirk, but he can't explain it in simple terms. He's like, "Okay, so it started off. It was founded by this man.
Right.
It's an untraceable currency." Like, he's given the backstory of it. And Kirk's like, "Okay, this isn't in the simplest terms. Like, give me a 2-second, thing about it." So I think that'd be interesting. I would live stream me like watching the Missouri game and reacting Friday night, but I'm not sure if the hotel will be carrying it. Oh wait, no, it's Saturday night, right? Or maybe I don't know.
Round 2 starts either Friday or Saturday. I think
Yeah.
round 1 starts tomorrow.
Yes.
And like they were saying, it round 2 starts right away.
Yeah, so I'll have to look into when those games are because I think that would be fun to kind of all get together and
To
watch
follow.
as fans. And
that was very funny though that Kirk gave him the small 20-second window. All right, I'm going to let you talk about it for this short amount of time, and this well, what did Steve say? He was fully engorged or something like that. Yeah, he couldn't wait to talk about it.
Just wait, in 6 months it's going to be a Bitcoin podcast where Kirk is just like, we have to be bullish on the Bitcoin. Hold. So, I mean, if Steve and Mike have their way, that's what it would probably turn into. But yeah, I mean,
Justin, would you ever accept payment?
So I don't want to get too into it. So I was into Bitcoin in like 2017, 2018. I actually own a couple mining rigs, which are just supercomputers that do math calculations in order to mine things. I wasn't mining Bitcoin because it wasn't profitable. I was mining Zcash. And then, I mean, people never
did you ever cash it out?
I did. I made like I lost like $2,000. I mean,
but you cashed out, so you got money back in your bank account.
Correct. So okay. People never mention this when it's talking about Bitcoin. Why Bitcoin what Bitcoin was originally used to like buy and sell. It was used to like buy and sell like child porn and guns and drugs on the dark web.
So, right. But that's people used it for. But it was originally, wasn't it supposed to be for computing power? That's kind of where it came from.
I just know.
You know what? We're already too deep into this. It's my fault.
They were like, oh, you're gonna buy like baby parts from Planned Parenthood on
I don't know. Maybe that's what Steve does with his Bitcoin.
So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. I hope Missouri wins. I'll be rooting for them.
Yes, that'll be very interesting. Yeah.
Today's show was awesome. Today's show really was incredible. I couldn't stop laughing. There were so many good cuts, so many good clips. Looking forward to Friday's show. Tim, anything else you'd like to
No, today, today, buddy, like Kirk had said, today was your day.
Today wasn't my day. I mean,
it was just an unbelievable feat that you did, right? But he recognized you, and it was an unbelievable feat that you did, and it's as much as you make fun of you, there aren't many people that can sit and read for 7.5 hours straight. How long did you break for lunch? I remember seeing that. It was only like 10 minutes. Yeah, it was like, not long at all.
I don't know. I just ate a Baconator and just kind of was like rested my voice. Had something.
Politicians love filibusters, so there's something big in your future.
Yeah, that's right. Look at that. Oh, imagine getting up there. They're debating like,
and you could read the book,
or women's rights, and I just go up there and I just start butchering all the names.
No, you could literally get up there and read that book.
I know you can say anything. Yeah.
No, I got nothing. We'll do. We had talked about weekend review. I'll post a couple things. Oh, I'm sorry. Trivia is all set. Only thing I have to do is pick 2 first teams. So.
Oh shit! Yeah, I completely forgot.
I know you and I have to connect on that. That's,
I'm sorry.
No, don't worry about it. I know you get other stuff going on. Plus, the biggest thing is going to be scheduling, right? It's trying to get 6 people that can agree to a time that's going to work. But I'm hoping to do a selection. Maybe even Friday night. I'll just do a Periscope, pick out a couple teams, and then Justin, you and I can figure out what night might work. But the game itself is ready to go, thanks to you and Harrison. Harrison did a lot of work on the.
So the last thing I want to say is that the Carabas baseball card giveaway. I'm giving away 10 Carabas baseball cards. All you have to do is subscribe to the RSS feed of Kirk Minahan Show wrap up. Give it 5 stars. And either send me a screenshot through Twitter, email it to Trudell, TRUDELL at barstoolsports.com. And yeah, you can be entered for a chance to win a Rocket card. So that drawing is going to be next Friday. So.
Oh, nice.
Should be fun. Thank you, Tim, for joining me.
Did you want to maybe connect on doing the drawing and the trivia at the same time?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Or do you want to keep them separate?
No, that'd be awesome.
Want to do that? Okay. All right, cool. We'll coordinate. All right. Thanks for having me on, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tim. Thank you for everyone who is listening. Thank you to Kirk Seamus Minahan.
As always.
And I will talk to you guys on Friday.